In order to have a successful, long-lasting, long-term relationship, you have to be willing to be vulnerable and be willing to allow the other person to see you're ugly. That part of you that nobody has seen, that part of you that you may not even know exists. You have to be allowing that other person to see that side of yourself. For a long time, I thought I was really good at relationships. But what I found out was I was a half relationshipper. Let me explain. I would want to be in relationships with people. I would want to date people. But when I would do that, I would only want to give a little bit of myself to that person. I would demand that they would give me all their attention, give me all their time, give me all their commitment. But I wasn't willing to do the same thing because I didn't want to get hurt, because I was scared. That's not going to fly if you want to have any sort of success in a relationship. In order to really grow, in order to really feel valued as a partner, you have to be willing to know who you are first. If you don't know who you are first, you can't really have any sort of success in your job, in your friendships, in your relationships with other people. The thing is, we have to be willing to do the work. And when I say do the work, what I mean is this. I was having an argument with my partner, and I remember she said to me, "How long is this going to be your story?" And when she first said it, I was like, ugh, what? Rude? But then when I took some time to sit with it and to think about it, I realized that there was a lot of truth to what she was saying. I was blaming other people and holding on to the same kinds of excuses for a long time. And I was using that as my story to justify my behavior and why I was the way that I was. In order to have success in life, in order to have successful relationships, we have to be willing to get down to the nitty-gritty of who we are and do the work. One of my favorite motivational speakers is Tony Robbins. He is known to have workshops that are 3 days to 6 days where people have these major breakthroughs. And in an interview, he was asked, how do you get people to have these amazing breakthroughs? And he said, oh, my job is easy. All I have to do is get them to my workshops because they're already willing to do the work. They've already done the work. They already know they need a breakthrough, and that's the key. The key is to know that you're already ready for a relationship. You're already ready for a new job. You're already ready for a new friendship. You're already ready to take that leap because you've done the work. A lot of people have this belief that, you can easily achieve something. And I hear this a lot. There is no such thing as an overnight success. There is no such thing as an overnight success. And that's so true. There's a writer that I really like. Her name is AJ Lovey, and she's known for giving a TED Talk, and she has a book out that's called I'm Judging You. And one thing that Lovey said when people ask her about her success is she said, I'm a 12-year overnight success. Think about that for a minute. I'm a 12-year overnight success. So people may see you at your peak point. They may see you at your highest point. They may see you in a successful relationship. They may see you in a successful marriage. They may see you surrounded by all these amazing people and an awesome network and an awesome group of friends. But what they don't see is all the work that you did to be able to get there, right? That's what they don't see. So be willing to do the work by being willing to invest in yourself, by being willing to delve deep enough into yourself to understand completely and fully who you are first. The thing is, we can only understand what lessons we're getting from other people, what people tell us, to the extent that we understand ourselves. So I'm going to bring it back to that story when my partner said, how long are you going to hold on to this story? Now, if I didn't take the time to understand myself, I could have easily said something like, what does she know? What's she talking about? Whatever. She's just being mean. She's just being rude. But I had to take the time to sit with it and think about it. I had to take the time to see, is this something I say a lot? Are these some patterns that I often talk about? I had to take the time to take responsibility for me. And a lot of times we want success, but we're not willing to take the responsibility to own up and to earn that success. You know, the universe will only meet you when you take action. And at that point of action, the universe will meet you. But you have to be willing to take those steps. I had this dream the other day, and I couldn't wrap my head around it. I was like, what is this dream about? It's so strange. I had this dream that I was riding on a bicycle, right? But the bicycle was a kid size, like a toddler size bicycle. And I'm on this road and I'm riding on this small bicycle and I'm struggling, but I'm moving, but I'm struggling on the bicycle. And so I'm trying to figure out like what's going on. And so my partner's like, why don't you go research what that means? Because dreams often have meanings. They're not just dreams, but we often just push them aside. So I was like, okay. So I Googled that. I Googled the meaning of a bicycle, and the meaning of a bicycle is actually, it's a transportation point. It's a vehicle to take you from point A to point B, and it symbolizes your life path, your journey in life, right? So I'm on this bike, on this life path, and I'm riding this kid-sized bike. And I was like, okay. So I had to think about, what does that mean if I'm on my life path, I'm trying to get somewhere, I'm trying to accomplish something, but I'm riding a kid-sized bike? Well, I thought about it for a while, and what it meant was I was operating on this small level in order to navigate through my life. I am this big person trying to navigate life on this small vehicle. I am playing small and dimming my light. How many of you can identify with that? Playing small and dimming your light because it's too scary to really shine your light. It's too scary to allow people to see you're ugly so that you can grow and have a successful relationship, right? So often, what do? We get angry at things that people say. We get triggered by things that we don't even know we're getting triggered by them. We just see it as, I'm angry at this person. Why would they say that to me? How could they say that to me? And because we're not willing to do the work, we're not willing to allow ourselves to address those triggers, to admit that we need help, to admit that we're not giving everything we can to a relationship. And we're not willing to show people the things that we need to work on, the things that we get angry about. We're not willing to invest in our gifts and our glory from the universe. When you are able to feel vulnerability, when you are able to allow yourself to feel a little bit uncomfortable, when you are able to allow yourself to let go of that ego that makes you feel so full of pride and so full of cockiness that you don't want to admit that you have anything wrong with yourself, or that you have any wrong in your life in terms of you could do no wrong. Well, that's when we never grow. So I want to encourage you tonight to think about a recent point in your life. It could be this week, it could be a year ago, but something recent that's fresh in your mind, where you were reactive to something. You got angry at something. You got mad about something. I want you to think about what that thing was and write it down in detail. Write everything down that you can remember about that situation. And then I want you, after you've written everything down, to read it, but read it as if you're reading a story about someone else. Look at it from a third-party perspective. And I want you looking at it from a third-party perspective, from an outsider's eye, to look at it and think, are there any patterns that I noticed in this story? Are there any things that I could have done differently? Is there anything that I can take from this, that maybe there was some truth in what that person said? Maybe there's something that I could change? And then I want you to challenge yourself to look at that one thing or two things that you may identify as things, you know what? I could have said that differently, but I was mad because they called me out on something that I didn't even know I had a problem with. Or, you know what? I could have apologized, but I was too proud to apologize. Whatever that thing is that you're having trouble with, that you're struggling with, what makes you feel embarrassed, shame, ugly, whatever that thing is, I want you to work this week on healing that thing. I want you to work this week on thinking about how you can address it, observe it, listen to it, and work on healing from it. You can have the kind of relationships that you want. You can have the type of friendships that you want. You can have the job that you want. You can have anything that you want, but you have to be willing to do the work. You can change your life because you can work on healing yourself. It all starts with you. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for joining me on this 30 days, 30 speeches live challenge. I love hearing your feedback. Let me know what you thought, and have a beautiful, amazing, awesome, empowering day. This is your life, and you're the only one in control of changing it. It all starts with you.